You're asking yourself if you should buy Cyberpunk and Phantom Liberty or invest your time or money into Starfield. You have only one choice because of either reasons. One of your resources is just simply not enough. Either it's money, if it's time or whatsoever, you have other things to do and you want to decide which one to play. I'm going to talk about my experiences because I had like the Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty ending right before the Starfield ending. I played both games in the last few weeks a long time, and I'm here to tell you about it. Why should you care about what I have to say? Well, I do this for a living. I play a lot of space games, and this is basically my profession, and I do have a strong feeling, especially about those two games. We could go about all the details that those games have to offer, like we have Cyberpunk, which has got a lot of emotion in storytelling and in character models. There's better fast traveling in Cyberpunk. The world just feels more lively and quests are everywhere. By the way, this is a very important point. The districts look different. You have side quests that are engaging and so on. For Starfield, we have other points like that the game is way more customizable. The gameplay is more customizable with a custom spaceship. You have base building. You have modifiable equipment and so on. You have a lot more gun variety, in my opinion, than in Cyberpunk. And side quests are amazing. They keep you occupied for a long, long time. But what are really the things that could drive you to one of those two games? Well, I want to start with something that I felt the entire time playing both games. And this is condensed in Cyberpunk. I didn't have time to do the side quests, and in Starfield, I did not have time to do the main quest. What does that mean for you as a gamer? Cyberpunk is a single-player story-based game that really grabs your attention, keeps that attention really high, and delivers in that story part after part. You're more and more engaged. Great character building, great story building and world building in this game, which leads to you playing like really invested in that game. That means you are going to feel the need to play Cyberpunk a lot, and you will feel the need to play it as one and for a long time without doing anything else between. While on the other hand, you have Starfield that has got a lot of interesting creative stories that are placed around the universe and that you have to discover one after the other because you're just simply flying around and you find new stuff and you get contacted by new quest givers, and then you start a very interesting quest. So Starfield is more like a hop-on, hop-off game, if you want to call it like that, because you can just play one of those small quests. You felt invested for that quest, but after it's over, usually those characters do not really have anything to do with anyone else in that universe you are flying, so you are not too invested in those in the entire world building around you as a character. That makes it a good game for people that do have only 1 hour or 2 hours a day at the evening, maybe not even every day. Like you can sit down for a few hours on the weekend, and then you can have a wonderful time in Starfield because you're just going in there. You do not have to invest extremely a lot to get like interesting quests done. Have a good time playing the game and then leave it for some time until you come back. While as Cyberpunk will be way more suited for people that do have time to game, that do want to get invested into a storyline that is really engaging, and they want to feel the progress, even with side quests that are giving you more progress that you then keep on doing in your main quest. Even some side quests will affect how the main quest characters will view you. So you want really to be invested a lot into that game, and maybe you have a week time because you have vacation, maybe you have more weeks time because you're on holidays or whatsoever. And then Cyberpunk is a great game to play and keep on playing. Not that Starfield can't do the same, but Starfield is not made for, or it can be played like that, but it also functions the other way. While on Cyberpunk, once you're too far out of the game and you left it laying for a week, you're like, okay, what was going on with that person, and what was the connection between them and those people? So you get the point. It's all about engagement. But how do these games deliver those stories? In Starfield, you do have good voice actors, which are really necessary for that game, because the animations of faces and whatever the people do around in the world are not really delivering the story or delivering the emotions that well. So the voice actors did a great job. Starfield feels really good if you like go into those dialogues, and if you only reading like the subtitles and you just listening to what the voice actors say, that is already like very engaging. That is well done. While in Cyberpunk, you do not only have also very good voice actors, but actually Cyberpunk feels like it's really being acted. And you do have most of the times the freedom to walk around and take a look around your surroundings, and maybe some other people that are around you while talking to some people and doing quests. So you are feeling more free, as if you're really standing there and actually are engaged again into what's happening in front of you, not only because voice actors are good, like I said, but also because Cyberpunk really does also deliver all the facial expressions that you need to just like react to a human that is standing in front of you, and not like an AI. Like a lot of NPCs in Starfield feel like AI because of their weird faces that they make, and sometimes it's just simply not fitting. Well, as in Cyberpunk, you feel like there's actually a person standing in front of you and reacting to whatever kind of emotion you're expecting. So, how do those games deliver the main story that they want to tell you? In Cyberpunk, after playing the main story without any spoiler or whatever happens, after playing the main story, I felt invested, emotionally invested. There was a lot of character building. I was feeling my choices that I had to do, the hard choices that we had, really hard choices that you had to do at the end, are paying off. You are left with a feeling of that was a extremely fantastic journey that you had with those characters, even though that when you did it during your game and you go back to the main game, there is a really interesting transition going on from the end of the DLC going back into the main game, really letting you with a feeling of, man, we had such a fantastic time, like fantastic time. In the end, it was very dramatic. Like there was a lot of drama going on. It just all done, and the next morning starts, and there is the sunrise, and you just, you know, you're sitting there and you're like thinking about everything that you just experienced, and all the emotions are still flowing through you, and you're like, man, how do I even keep on going? And that actually resembles for me like life is like it. The best adventure you have does end at some point, and the next morning comes and you are thrown back into the world, and you're like, that was amazing, but I somehow need to keep on going. While in Starfield's story is a little bit different. Starfield's story felt not only there was no good character build up, not even your own character, not even the characters that were essential to the story. They had like very few moments where they could try to deliver. In my opinion, they did not deliver in the main story. I have to emphasize main story a lot because we're talking about the side quest in a second. The game tried to tell a story. It did it. Was it good? Not really. After finishing Starfield, finishing the end, seeing how everything like ended up, and of course you're going to be thrown into a new game plus, but that is ridiculous. You are just at the end of your journey. There is no big emotion. There is no music that will like that will give you emotions. There's no real journey where you go. There is like one, let's just say, there is a waiting room where you get to see the stuff that you've done, but it feels so out of touch. And then your game's over. Before you start a new game, you see a cutscene that I don't even want to call a cutscene. You just see a picture and the credits roll, and there's some generic OST music which you have no emotion with and whatsoever. And then you're thrown into the new game, and like I said, in Cyberpunk, there's the new dawn, the sun rises, and in Starfield, you do get a wall of text telling you, hey, great job. Now you can continue with this game, or do it over and over and over again. It's your choice. Click OK. Yeah, that's that. And then Cyberpunk side stories. Like I said, side quests are sometimes even making the way into the main quest, because a main character will sometimes like come back to you and they're like, hey, I saw you did this and that in the town. Oh, that's great of you. Thank you so much for doing that. You know, that was really, really kind of you. And you're like, hey, yeah, cool. Thank you that you noticed. Great. And all the other side stories, you have actors doing their best to give you like side stories that matter somehow. You feel like, okay, I do get a quest, but it doesn't really have anything to do with me at the moment. Though it feels like I'm helping another person while I got time, because there is like my own story that I'm following, but sometimes I do get the time to help other people, you know, being a little bit altruistic if you want to. And you get the feeling a lot in Cyberpunk. And because Cyberpunk has got such a dense world that they're building, it's just that one city without any loading screens or whatsoever, you are actually getting, you're seeing, you're walking through the city and you see opportunities everywhere. And that's something that I'm missing in Starfield. Although in Starfield, the side quests are well written, the dialogues are good, sometimes even great. The stories that they tell are sometimes inspirational and creative. Like there are great side stories about humanity and their creativity and the actual human mind. But the thing is, in Starfield, you are thrown into that side quests. You are doing that side quests. Once you're done, you're teleporting away and you do something else that's on your mission journal. And that feels like the universe is just like the whole setting of the universe, how it works out with that fast traveling from A to B, from planet to planet, from star system to star system. That setting is just tearing the entire experience apart. Whereas in Cyberpunk, you just turn around, you have the next quest sitting there, and you can decide, oh, there's a car I could actually like steal right now Do I want to do that? But I have actually something else to do. I should be somewhere else right now. Yeah, you know what? A small car heist. Why not? And then you're engaging into that. While in Starfield, it's way more like, okay, I do the next quest. I engage into that. I do it. Once it's over, I can go somewhere else. Nothing is interrupting that experience. And that's why, as I said, Cyberpunk is the game that you really want to invest a lot of time, and a lot of time that is connected to the game. While in Starfield, you can just sit there, play around, leave it laying for a week, come back, do a different story, do a different adventure. Does that help you? I don't know. Like, at the end, I can tell you my own experience, my own opinion about it. Of course, both games are great. But if I have to choose one, I would play Cyberpunk just because I have the time and I can play it in one session after the other and just keep on playing, come back and get invested and just lose hours and hours and hours every day in this fantastic world. Although Starfield, I can come back whenever I want, whenever I feel like, hey, I want to have a little bit of space. I want to have good gunplay. I want to adventure a little bit. Maybe I want to see what else creative stuff they got running. And then I can go back into Starfield without any pressure that I need to finish anything. But if you don't know the companies behind those two games, like I'm specifically saying that because of CDPR did The Witcher 3 before. Did you play The Witcher 3? That's a question for you. And Bethesda did The Elder Scrolls and Fallout before. Did you play those games? Did you like one of those games? If you liked one of those games more than the other, that means that you will also like the new one more than the other. Because those two, Cyberpunk and Starfield, do what those older games did, but at a way higher level and way better in my opinion. If you know none of those games, you are completely new to both of those franchises, both of those companies, and that's the first time that you want to pick a game so big like Cyberpunk or Starfield, I would determine that by the time you got. Do you have a lot of time on your hand in the next few weeks you want to play? Grab Cyberpunk. If you are just hopping on and off and you have maybe once or twice a weekend time, play Starfield and you will have a great time every single time you come back. And if you like what we're talking about, we do all of that live also on Twitch, twitch.tv/CaptainCollins. Join me there whenever you can. Leave me a comment and tell me what you think about what I just threw at you. And thank you so much for watching. See you the next time. I can't wait.